Welcome back to the most professional sports channel on YouTube. Welcome back to Swivel Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Zuckerberg Purple. With us today, Aaron and Joe. Gonna say hi, guys.
Hi.
Alright, in this video, we'll be doing another edition of our weekly NFL winners and losers. This time, taking a look back at week 6 of the NFL season. If you haven't seen any of these videos before, we'll each be going around, giving either a winner or a loser, and just keep going round and round until we run out of people to talk about.
Yeah, and if you like our content, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Let us know what you think.
So, starting off with our first winner of the week. My first one is Caleb Williams. Looked really, really good in his first game over there in London, obviously, being his rookie season, hasn't played over there before. 23 for 29, so best completion percentage of his career to date. 226 yards, 4 touchdowns. Did throw a pick in there, but on top of all that, he also ran for 56 yards on 4 carries. Recently, he's a huge winner, obviously, on top of playing really well. Kind of catapulted himself right back up into Rookie of the Year conversations. If you look at the passing stats between him and Jayden Daniels, obviously the front runner at this point in the season, he's like right there neck and neck with Jayden as far as passing numbers go. Obviously, Jayden has the little bit of a leg up there on the rushing side of things, so that could end up being the difference there when it's all said and done. But Caleb now on the season, 1,317 yards, 9 touchdowns, has 5 picks, but a lot of those came kind of those first few weeks before he fully kind of settled down as a starting quarterback in the NFL. And then as far as Jayden Daniels goes, 1,404 yards, so less than 100 difference there. 3 less passing touchdowns, only 6. He does have the 4 rushing touchdowns, so that kind of makes up for it, but still just a 1 touchdown difference between the two there. Big difference is kind of taking care of the ball, though. Jayden Daniels, much better completion percentage, much less turnovers, so that could end up being, along with the rushing stats, what ends up separating the two at the end. But yeah, Caleb Williams, big winner, puts himself right back up in the conversation as best rookie quarterback.
Yeah, I had Caleb Williams as well. One of his more efficient games. This is kind of what people were expecting. Maybe a little bit earlier than people were expecting with how good he's been. But just the big thing, cutting back on those turnovers. So I'll just, you kind of talked about him already. I'll throw out another winner, Jayden Daniels. Faced his toughest defense yet in the Ravens and still showed out. Took care of the ball really well. And really kind of held his own against that vaunted Ravens defense. I think they're really only a defense away from being true contenders. Maybe another receiver, but Jayden Daniels is dynamic enough to kind of carry that offense. And they kind of remind me of the 2018 Chiefs. Mahomes' first season starting that really explosive, exciting offense. The season that they, lost 54-51 or something like that to the Rams. So they kind of remind me of that, and it'll be exciting to watch how him and this team develop over the next few years.
That's for sure. Their last 4 games, I think they're averaging like 30-something points a game, which is why they need it with that defense. But I mean, it's pretty cool to see. My next one, another rookie. Well, not a rookie quarterback, but another young quarterback. Bryce Young is a winner this week. They were 0-2 without him. It didn't look good. They weren't moving the ball much. I get it. They're scoring, way more points now. But with Dalton, they got a win, and now they're 1-3 with him. 3 straight losses. You lost to the Bengals, who, congrats to the Bengals. They suck too, I think, still. They lost to the Bears, whooped by the Bears, I should say, by 26, and then you get dominated by the Falcons. I mean, if you're going to lose, might as well just go with the younger guy and hopefully see if you can build something from it and figure it out, because, maybe give Dalton 1 or 2 more games, you lose both of those, and yeah, there's no reason not to just ride it out with Bryce and see if you can actually help him improve versus whatever you've been doing with him.
100%. I mean, there's no reason to, continue to sit your, hopeful future franchise guy if you're not winning games anyway. So totally behind you on that one.
Let him fail and then go into next season with him. And if he's still no leaps, then all right, then you have your answer. Move on from the guy. Give him somewhere else. But might as well just see what you got with it.
Yeah, look at the Titans with Will Levis. They took a shot. Was it smart? Probably not. But they took a shot.
They also gave up the only guy that would have made any kind of competition for him.
Yeah. My first loser, I got Geno Smith coming off another third straight tough loss for the Seahawks over there. Started off 3-0, obviously. But if you take a look back at those 3 wins, first one, Bo Nix in his first game starting as a rookie quarterback, only beat them by 6. Second win, New England. Took them going into overtime to beat New England. Awesome, probably not a great sign. Third win, Miami's first full game without Tua, which is the only game that hasn't been close for them so far, at least on the winning side of things. And then after that, rattled off 3 straight losses: Detroit, Giants, and now San Francisco. And Geno Smith the entire time, I guess one thing you can point to in those first 4 or 5 games is at least he was efficient, completing the ball at an efficient level, pretty good completion percentage. But I mean, he hasn't yet to throw for more than 1 touchdown in a game so far this season. This past week's second game so far this season, and only 6 games, obviously, with 2 picks. So not great there. And then he's also really no threat when it comes to running the football, with 0 rushing yards on only 1 attempt this week, and really only having 1 game where he broke off a large amount of rushing yards. So Geno Smith, I definitely think, should kind of be considered on the hot seat to an extent. If he keeps playing at this level, I think Seattle may be looking to move on from him at quarterback next year, because he's just probably not going to be the long-term answer, and I think they're going to look to draft a guy sooner rather than later.
I don't know that necessarily puts him on the hot seat. I mean, he is not the problem there. They're putting up points. It's the defense that's really the big letdown. I do agree that he's not the long-term answer. He's not a young guy by any means, but I don't necessarily means that puts him on the hot seat. He's a quality quarterback that will, keep them at least competitive as long as they've got the offensive weapons that they've got. But I do see where you're coming from. They do need a future franchise guy that it probably wouldn't hurt to start developing. It's just a question of whether they can get him and win. My first loser is Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Coming out hot, tweeting about people memeing him into a bag with how bad he's been after Call of Duty has come out every October, getting his COD partnership, and then promptly getting their ass whooped later that week. Not a great look. And it's so unfortunate, but the meme still holds true. I didn't know this, and I found it very shocking. It's been almost 3 years since the Cardinals have won back-to-back games.
Oh my goodness, wow.
December 5th, 2021 was the last time they won back-to-back games.
Oof.
So they have
was Fitzgerald
really been
still in the
struggling.
league at that point?
There's a reason they've been able to draft the guys that they've drafted, aka Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah. So they've got to work on their consistency over there, and they show flashes, but it's just too few and far between for them to really string together a few good quarters, much less some games. So Kyler Murray, unfortunately, a big loser this week.
Which one do I want to go with? First one, let's make this nice and easy. The Browns, they just suck. That's kind of it. I don't know what we need to say. They're terrible.
I've got something to throw in on the Browns If you just
Go for it. Go for it. I don't have enough. I don't think there needs to be an explanation, but I want to hear it.
I mean, they came into the season with so much hope, you know? It's essentially the same team as last year, some improvements, and they are just ass.
Oh, they're
Ass.
doo-doo butt juice, yeah.
And not only did they lose this week, they lost their best receiver. They traded him. So it's not getting any better anytime soon. And I think a lot of people kind of assume that with Deshaun Watson, you know, remaining as the starting quarterback. But it's bad over there at Cleveland.
And mind you, they gave up 34 last week to the Commanders. So I know, like, that's a props to the Commanders, but at the same time, you look at it like this thing was supposed to lean on defense. Granted, the defense has also lost games by barely giving up 20 like this week to the Eagles, and just because they can't score. So, nonetheless, it is a shit show in Cleveland.
Yeah. And Kevin Stefanski's still over there saying, I think Deshaun gives us the best chance to win. Do you? Do you really? Like, at least Jameis Winston, he may throw some interceptions here and there, but hey, along with those 30 interceptions, he's going to throw 30 touchdowns. That is a fact.
People said they said he's got the best job in the NFL. He's the face of a franchise and don't even have to suit up every week.
Dude. Oh, man. My next winner kind of piggybacks off what you were just talking about earlier, Aaron, with Kyler Murray. I've got the other side of the field, the quarterback on the other sideline, Jordan Love, probably putting up his best game so far this season. Obviously now a few weeks removed from that scary, terrifying, kind of made you gasp and hold your breath for a little bit, clutch your pearls, that week 1 injury he suffered at the very end of the game. But he seems like he's right back on track to what Green Bay thought he was whenever they gave him all that money this offseason, putting up a basically 69% completion percentage this week with 4 touchdowns, only 1 pick. Just wire-to-wire beat down of the Arizona Cardinals, team that looked a little feisty those first couple weeks. Defense was definitely an issue, and that showed in this game, but just kind of beat them into submission so quickly that they weren't able to punch back on the offensive side of things. And Jordan Love just seems like he's going to continue to get better as he has so far this season. I think that's probably the 3rd straight week of him continuing to progress back to that high caliber quarterback we saw at the end of last season. So I expect that to continue. And I'm still feeling pretty good about my Matt LaFleur Coach of the Year and Green Bay Packers maybe 1 seed prediction. I think they still got a shot at that. So go Jordan Love.
Yep. That offense is coming along. That's a scary defense over there. That forces a lot of takeaways. So you're in pretty good shape as far as that goes. I've got a kind of a combo here. Jets and Bills winners going out and getting some good veteran receivers. Those offensive receiving cores are looking pretty interesting over there in the AFC East.
Specifically the state of New York. I guess the Dolphins.
The Dolphins got a good receiver if they have somebody to throw the ball.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Tyreek might be on the move, but continue.
Yeah. The Bills, I think we all kind of saw it. They struggled without having a true number 1, somebody to step up and be the real go-to guy, other than Dalton Kincaid. But in the Jets, they went out and they got Davante Adams, but I'm still not convinced that this solves all their problems. They're 30th in rush yards per game and are tied for 7th in sacks allowed. So their real problem is their O-line, but getting Davante Adams, that definitely won't hurt things.
30th in rush per game, considering they have Breece Hall, is kind of wild to think about. I didn't know that they're that low. My next winner is one of the guys Aaron just mentioned, is specifically Amari Cooper. The guy went from 1-5 to 4-2 in snap of a finger just like that, and he's going from John Watson to Josh Allen, who's an MVP candidate caliber player. Then you have a bad organization in Cleveland compared to Buffalo. I guarantee it's a 10 times better upgrade for him. So, I mean, how's that guy not winning? I mean, for the Bills, it works cap-wise either way. Amari's getting his money that he already got in his contract guaranteed. So, and now he's a playoff contender, possibly Super Bowl contender. See how it goes.
My next loser, Bo Nix. I decided to keep up with this game as opposed to the Cowboys game, which proved to be, I guess, a slightly better decision. Honestly, the Broncos were kind of getting the shit kicked out of them for 3.5 quarters and then just happened to kind of fight back there at the end, which is why Bo Nix is such a big loser in my eyes this week, because you look at his stats at the end of the game and you think, okay, that's not too bad, especially for a rookie quarterback going up against 2 edge rushers like Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. 216 yards, 2 touchdowns, did have a pick, but again, he's getting pressured by 2 of the best edge rushers in recent memory. Also had 6 carries for 61 yards. Seems like it's, not terrible, not the end of the world. He had 22 passing yards at halftime. They did not score a single point until the 4th quarter. Got down early, and just never really, up until those last few minutes, really had any chance at winning this game. He was a big reason why, missing throws left and right. Was never on the same page with his receivers, seemingly. Took a miraculous catch by one and only Courtland Sutton, who's fantastic at doing that in the end zone, just for them to score one of those touchdowns. So without Courtland Sutton, who knows how bad this stat line would have actually looked at the end of the day. But yeah, just a really rough day at the office for the rookie. Not the end of the world, obviously. Once again, you're going up against a pretty good defense this year in the Los Angeles Chargers. A team that runs the ball too, so you're not going to get as many opportunities as you might like. I know at one point the Chargers had like 30 minutes of time of possession, which at the time was a larger number than the passing yards Bo Nix had, which is just absolutely insane. But yeah, I mean, rough night. But all things considered, I think he'll be okay at the end of the day. I don't think he's going to be anything great, but this is going to be one of his worst games. I hope, for his sake.
Yeah. I've got Nick Sirianni as a loser.
I thought about putting him.
The Eagles win the game, and he still gets booed at home. At home in Philly, he gets booed after winning.
And he talks shit to the fans.
Yeah, then he goes on taunting the fans, and he just.
It wasn't as bad as it looked. What he said, it wasn't as bad as it looked.
Yeah. It's a weird situation there. Now Philly fans, everybody kind of knows what to expect from them, but when you got the coach fighting back a little bit, that makes for a little bit more interesting situation. So it'll be fun to see kind of how this all plays out. If they do well, if they don't do well, I think it'll be good television either way.
Heck yeah, WWE style.
At this point, if it's not a 21-point win or more, I think they're gonna boo the guy.
Well, I mean, to be fair, beating the Browns by 1 possession ain't a good look.
Yeah, no, not at all. It was a rightful boo. It was they were in the right.
If you're gonna boo for a
Browns
win, that's the
home.
one you boo for. Yeah.
At home, yeah, I get that's a big point. At your own state, you can boo. Crazy stuff. My next loser is kind of a winner loser. So the winner is the hot seat. Trades are going down, things are happening, it's starting to heat up a little bit, and then my losers are the coaches who are about to be on the hot seat. So you have Sirianni, I think, is up there week to week. I think if he has a win, he's secure. They win the way they just did, they're calling his name. But other than that, you have Doug Peterson, who I think everyone is pretty obvious that he's on the hot seat. Lost this week again. Stefanski for the Browns lost this week and lost their best receiver, so he's probably going to be done. Cowboys suck, so McCarthy's going to he's on the seat, even though Jerry said he's not going to change nothing. And then I think Dennis Allen is too. His defense, he's a defensive coach giving up 30 points a game right now. And you just lost your starting quarterback. Like you're asking a lot of Spencer Rattler to come in after Derek Carr and for 30 plus points a game to maybe win. Maybe. I mean, just once one falls, it's usually like a little domino. So I'm kind of interested to see what happens over the next 2-3 weeks when teams are deciding whether they're going to trade and go for the win or call it a year.
What do you think about Jonathan Gannon down there in Arizona? You think he's on the hot seat? Because I mean, you gotta give him a pass for last year because Kyler missed most of the season and they didn't look good. But they haven't really looked a whole lot better this year.
Yeah, but I don't think they were expecting much this year. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
kind of with Joe there.
I think you just give him one more year, like 1 year. Hopefully, Kyler fully healthy. Hopefully, the young guys like Marvin Harrison and other, Buda Baker and all that, like maybe they elevate some other people's games, and you hope maybe you kind of find out your core this year and build from it. But I mean, I wouldn't jump out on him, not unless it ends horribly. No, I think you should get up into next year.
Yeah, for my next winner, I've got Aaron, my co-host here, going 14-0 on his predictions last week.
I'm gonna go with San Fran on this one. Think I'll bet on that Bears defense to hold firm there over in London. Yeah, I think I've got the Packers as well. I'm gonna go with Indy. I'll take Houston. Give me Tampa Bay all day. Regardless, I'm taking Philly here. It's me to say, but I think I'm gonna take Baltimore as well.
This one.
I think I'm gonna take the Chargers in this one. Yeah, I'll take the Steelers.
This next one's my favorite.
This feels like a Detroit ass whooping in the making. Yeah, give me Atlanta. That Cincinnati offense is just going to be a little bit too much for the Giants to deal with. I'm with you. I'll take Buffalo.
So hell yeah! Congrats to Aaron on a flawless prediction week.
Well, I mean, there's only like 1 or 2 games difference between all of our picks, so
hey,
must just be.
It's the way you called it, though. The way the Lions ass whooping one.
That was funny.
That was a perfect call. You said the Cincy's offense would be just a little bit too much for the Giants, and it was barely enough for them. Like you even called Chicago's defense being too much on them. That was another ass whooping too.
So yeah, shout out to
here. All right.
Shout out to my co-host for kicking ass on predicting this week.
Just let me get my parlays ready this next one.
For real.
Don't do that.
Yeah, you're gonna win me some money this week, buddy.
No pressure, I guess. My next winner is the Texans getting their top 2 running backs back. Joe Mixon going for 13, 102 and a touchdown. Damian Pierce going for 8 and 76 and a touchdown. So their running game looks like it's bouncing back a little bit, and their offense is kind of starting to feel that, looking a little bit better than it has the last few weeks. So Texans, bet they're real glad to have their top 2 running backs back.
First full week back for having both of them, and they look like they did in week 1. They didn't skip a beat being injured these past couple weeks. My next winner was Baltimore rushing offense, because it looks exactly what everyone said it should have been since the beginning of the season. Put that into perspective, right? Didn't look the best at the beginning of the season. They have the rushers with 50 or more. They have the number 1 and 2 rushers in yards per carry. in Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in the same backfield. And then you have Derrick Henry leading the did in Tennessee before. So now he's just doing it with the better team with the second best runner in the league behind it or with him. Like it's insane to see. It's hard to think that they get stopped by somebody, even though that might be the formula. Just because of who it is, it just makes it seem like no matter what you do, they're gonna figure it out. Then you had Mark Andrews look good this past week. He looks like he maybe started getting healthier and starting to feel a little bit better. And if that gets going with Zay Flowers, that's gonna be. I don't know. Ravens are looking up for sure with that rushing offense.
The next loser, I got kickers at MetLife. 2 back-to-back primetime matchups at MetLife Stadium this week. We got Sunday Night Football where the Bengals visited the hosting New York Football Giants. And then Monday Night Football, we had the Buffalo Bills heading down the state to take on the New York Jets. Well, in that first game on Sunday night, we did see our one and only kicker of the 4 teams go perfect, and that was the Bengals. Evan McPherson, only kicker out of the 4 that played this weekend at MetLife Stadium to go perfect. He went 1 for 1 on field goals, so good for him. Greg Joseph 0 for 2. Greg Zuerlein for the Jets went 2 for 4, and Tyler Bass for the Bills went 1 for 2. So a combined 4 for 9 on field goals from kickers this weekend at MetLife Stadium. The wind was crazy, I understand, but the 3 teams up in New York are struggling to kick the ball right now, and that's been a trend not only this weekend, but kind of following them for the Bills, seasons now, and for the Jets all year long, for the Giants definitely all year long because they lost their kicker early on. So yeah, kickers at MetLife Stadium not looking good so far. We got bad luck up there in New York. So
yeah, maybe have something to do with the field.
Good. Oh, that's actually interesting. Maybe the wind also circles in there.
The wind was real whippy yesterday.
Yeah.
I will say.
Yeah, it was weird. So maybe the stadium's built weird.
Yeah, my last loser stays in that game. It's viewers of that Monday Night Football game. That was sloppy. All momentum and action seemed to go away in the second half. At least it started, semi-exciting. Very sloppy game. Over 200 penalty yards, which is absolutely disgusting and almost unheard of. And just that second half just seemed to drag on all night. So I'm sorry if you watched the second half of that game.
The penalties were gross. Terrible penalties. Roughing the passer specifically were just terrible that game.
Also, I don't think there was a flag thrown. I think it was yesterday, but it might have been on Sunday, where it was an ineligible receiver downfield, and they buzzed down from New York and picked up the flag. I think if it's not challengeable, you shouldn't be able to buzz down. New York shouldn't be able to call it.
I want to say that was Sunday Night Football, Bengals Giants, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think that's bullshit. I don't think that if it's the flag is thrown, it should have to stay with that. If it's not challengeable, the replay booth should have nothing to do with it.
I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah, I remember that too.
Fair. I'm with you on that. For the week, couldn't skip them. Dallas.
Yeah.
You can't run from that ass whooping. What they say, belt to ass. That's what that was. From the jump. I mean, when you have a guy as serious and as intense as Dan Campbell, they got offensive linemen running routes.
Hook and ladders, bro.
They did a hook and ladder.
Hook and ladder.
They did a hook and ladder
With
to
alignment.
their superstar tackle that they just paid a bunch of money to.
Was it Sewell?
It was Sewell, yeah.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
They ran a hook and ladder. that he almost scored on.
Yeah, I know.
And then they also ran an empty backfield with number 70-something out wide at receiver, just messing around. Like, when you're toying around in a game, when you have another team doing that to you, I mean, that's how you know you just getting your ass whooped up and down, left and right. Doesn't matter. And so, I mean, they've lost to now. They're 3-3, so they lost to Detroit. They've lost to Baltimore, which you watch the game, it was 28-25. It never really was that close. It was a lot of junk stats at the end of the game, just making stuff up. That was another ass whooping. They ran for like 200 something yards on him. Derrick Henry almost did 200 by himself. And then they got smacked up week 2 against the Saints. Like, their 3 best teams that they've played, arguably best. They did beat the Steelers. They shouldn't have. They got lucky. They shouldn't have won that. We fucked up, but losing to the 3 best teams you've played against and getting whooped the way you have, it's setting up to be another season of winning record. Get into that first round and watch another shit show in the first round and go home early.
Yeah, another unfortunate loser. Another unfortunate loser in that game. Obviously, Aiden Hutchinson probably out for the year now with that broken tibia. Just crazy play, freak accident. MMA style break where his shin just hit a teammate's shin and just folded right over it. So thoughts and prayers go out to him. Hopefully he gets a speedy recovery. My last winner.
Yeah, Jerry Jones going and getting pissed off at a radio host today for kind of grilling him about how bad they've been.
Yeah, his pride is hurting.
I didn't even see that.
He basically threatened his job.
They just kept asking him, like, what's going wrong? He's like, can we talk about what's going right? Just your head. You didn't score an offensive touchdown. You let up 40 points. Jerry, tell me what went right.
Yeah, right. Like, it's not like you barely lost, Jerry.
Well, wasn't it his birthday too? They said, or birthday weekend.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
because he did like a pregame interview with Fox football hosts, pregame hosts, Terry Bradshaw and all them, and he was like at AT&T Stadium watching it, but like with the fucking mascot doing an interview, and the mascot he's like, "Oh, how do you get out of here?" It was a weird interview. But my last winner. This is gonna sound kind of weird. I've got Mike Williams because poor guy got thrown under the bus after the game by Aaron Rodgers, who basically just called him out in front of the entire world and said, like, yeah, no, it was his fault that I threw that interception. And it came out today after trading for Davante Adams that the Jets were looking to now trade Mike Williams. So shout out to him getting out of New York. That's awesome. We saw last year with McCole Hardman how, when you leave the Jets, you win a Super Bowl. So congrats to Mike Williams on his ensuing Super Bowl victory.
Come on to KC.
We'll take
a receiver desperately.
We'll take him. No Amari Cooper, no Davante Adams. If that's what we could get, I'll take it.
If teams really want to beat you guys, they need to just not negotiate. Like, nobody negotiates with KC unless you're getting a player or something. Nobody needs to be trading. I'm glad Davante and Amari, one of them didn't somehow end up going to Kansas City. Thank goodness.
MVS got cut by the Bills, I believe.
Oh gosh, don't come back.
I don't bring him back. Go ahead, really that's fine.
Want him back, but I guess he can come back.
Stay away. Well, if Sky Moore leaves, then I'll take him.
Nah.
Well, unless you guys got anything else, I think that'll do it for this episode of the most unprofessional sports channel on YouTube, Swivel Chair Sports. I've been your host, Zach Zuckerberg. Burkle hit the coast today. Aaron and Joe. Go and say bye, guys.
Bye.
Alright, please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Make sure to drop a comment down below with your biggest winners and losers of Week 6 of the NFL season. And most importantly, deuces. Have a good day.